And when you start small, it's like a side hustle. So you have your main job or maybe your main business, and then on the side you're working on something else. So when you do that, because you know you're supported financially by your main job, your main business, you can take chances on the side. So you can try many ideas, especially if you have many. So you have a dream, but you don't know where to start. You're tempted to go all in, and for example, if you have the idea of having a bakery, you want to go for a lease for 2 years and then buying expensive material and taking a loan from the bank and all that. But the problem is with that kind of situation, you don't know if it's gonna work. So the best way to prevent the problem of regretting your investment is to start small and bootstrap everything you do. And so I want to talk about the power of starting small when you have an idea or a project, like an idea and a project, or both, or it's the same thing. Hi, my name is Amina. I'm a life coach, and I'm here to give you some tips, offer my perspective, and answer some questions you might have. So if you have questions or video suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you like what I do here, please subscribe, like, and share, and help me spread the word. So today I want to talk about 5 reasons it's good to start anything small. So number 1 is when you start small, you build a solid foundation. So for example, like I was talking about the bakery situation. If you have the idea of becoming a baker, like a professional baker with where you can lease a place where you can have customers, if you do that right away and you don't have any proven concept, it's a problem. But if you start small, for example, you start to bake cookies or muffins, and then you sell them, I don't know, to people or you can even share for free for people to taste and give you their feedback. And you can see over time, if you have people who come to you to ask and pay for your service as a baker, you can start this way. And when you do that over time, you get better, you understand the business, you understand the mistakes you can make, you make mistakes and you learn from them. But because it was small, it doesn't cost you that much money, or even it doesn't cost you anything. And so it's not dramatic when you fail at something. But at least when you start small, you're gonna learn about the process, you're gonna improve over time, you're gonna learn the tricks and tips, and that's because you have been down there and then you just moved up. But if you want to start up and you don't know what's going on over there, you don't have the foundation. And so yes, this is a good reason to start small. Build a solid foundation. If you have a house that has a weak foundation, the house is going to collapse at some point. So if you have a house with solid foundations, where the people who worked on that house knew what they were doing, you have more chances to have a house that lasts a long time. Point number 2 is you go at the speed of cash. And so no doubt, so I will just, with the bakery example, when you start sharing your cookies and your cookies and your, I don't know, I'm always confused, like cookies or cookies, let me know. Cookies or cookies. Yes, you start making muffins and then you share them with people, or people start buying from you. And so when you do that, you receive some money, you can now invest in some machines you can use to help you create bigger quantities. And so the more you do that, you have more clients paying to you, more customers, and they pay you, and the money that comes to you, you just reinvest it over time, and then so on and so forth, until you reach a point where you can scale and get to at least have like your own shop. So it's very important to go at the speed of cash. So I heard that from Dave Ramsey. And so instead of jumping with debt or even jumping with a big investment, even if it's your own money, your own cash, if you're sure that it's gonna work, good for you. But if you don't know the results, start small and then go at the speed of cash. Reason number 3 is mistakes, error are not magnified. So because you have started small, so let's take for example again the bakery situation, or let's do something else. Let's see, for somebody who wants to self-publish. So you wrote a book, you don't know if people are going to buy it, but now you're wondering, okay, should I go for a publisher? Should I self-publish? So if that's the case, how many books should I print? Should I order on Amazon or things like that? How am I going to be known? Because if nobody knows your book exists, who's gonna buy it? And so when you do that, for example, if you decided to buy 10,000 books, but nobody knows about the book, and so you put it out there, nobody buys it, and you have spent, I don't know, $20,000. Even that's a lot. But you see, if you do that, you're gonna spend $20,000. Nobody buys your book, so somehow you're losing $20,000, unless over time you do you have a good marketing strategy, and over time people come to you and they can then buy the $20,000 worth of books. But you see that even if we talk about even $100 books and it costs you $2,000, but because you do it on a small scale, if nobody buys your 100 books, you would have paid $2,000. I'm just making up a number. I don't think that's the value. But if that's the case, you would have lost 2,000 or maybe 200. But you see, it's not fatal. It's not like, oh, you're gonna lose your house, or you're gonna lose your car, or you're gonna end up on the streets. Why? Because you have taken calculated risks and you have paid attention. You knew that, okay, what I'm doing right now, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I can stomach the loss if it doesn't work. And so that's what I mean. But if you go, for example, still the same with the books, and you do the 10,000 books or 100,000 books, and you're sure that people are going to buy it, and now you owe $2 million and nobody buys your book, you are in trouble. So 200 or 2,000 versus 2 million. The choice is made very fast. And so when you get here with the 200, now you know, okay, I put out there 100 books, people bought it. Now I can reinvest in more books, more people buy it, and then you reinvest, and so on and so forth. And so you go at the speed of cash, and your risks are very limited because you're not going all in and investing all your money or even going into debt for that. Before we get to the next point, just wanted to let you know, to remind you that I have a website where you can find everything that I do, whether it's my one-on-one coaching or my blog or anything else. So you can give it a try. Thanks in advance. It's good to start small because you can try many ideas. So when you start small, it's like a side hustle. So you have your main job, or maybe your main business, and then on the side you're working on something else. So when you do that, because you're supported financially by your main job, your main business, you can take chances on the side. So you can try many ideas, especially if you have many. In my case, I have many ideas, and it's always hard for me to choose. It's very, very difficult, going to the dentist and having a tooth removed. So when you are in that situation, your main job is supporting you. You can allow yourself to try many things and see what sticks, and see what works. And so you're not taking too much risk. You still have your main job with your main income. You're investing smaller amounts on what you want to try, and amounts you can afford to lose if things don't go the way you want them to go. My last point is, in case one of your ideas is not actually what you want to do, because it's one thing to dream and fantasize about something, and it's a different thing to go on the field and do the work. So if you go to the field, if you go do the work and see the reality that is behind, and you don't like it because you've done it on a small scale, you can move on to the next easily, compared to you have invested in $2 million worth of books, and now you have a hard time because you have to have your money back. You cannot pivot to something else. You're kind of stuck here unless you're okay with losing the $2 million. But most people won't be okay with that. So yeah, it's easier to pivot when you have started small. It's easier to move on to the next, and yes, you're going to be hurt, or maybe you will be happy to discover that, oh, you know what, actually I don't want to do this, and so you just move to the next. So as a recap, why some reasons that it's good to start small. So number one is you build a solid foundation. Number two, you go at the speed of cash, so you avoid debt. Number three, when you make mistakes, errors, they are not magnified. Number four, you can test many ideas. And number five, you can pivot anytime. You're not committed completely because of an investment you would have made. So my challenge for you today is try to see what is one of the projects, or what is one idea you've been wanting to do, and try to imagine how it could look like when you start small at that idea. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like what I do here. And if you have questions or video suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. My question for you today is, do you have any ideas regarding a good reason to start small? And if that was the case for you, can you share your experience in the comment section below to help other people? So that's it for today. I hope this video helps. Until next time, I wish you a good week, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching.